Cocoon smuggling. International Affairs got a memo about these cocoons, and Interpol's all hot and bothered about them. Can't sell them on the black market, too dangerous. Yeah, cocoon smuggling ain't exactly lucrative anymore. Man, I'm in International Affairs, I know the deal. Indeed. Interpol wanted these cocoons bad enough to send Mr. Laytooth undercover. You can't think of the craziest things. But no way am I going to risk a life and limb just to get my hands on some dirty cocoon money. Not the most noble of statements, but duly noted. According to the reports, these cocoons top Interpol's list. Selling them to an underground organization would be risky. Very well. You may begin the cross-examination. This is the only motive I've got. He was up to something, and I'm gonna find out what. Alright. I don't know about this. A memo. That's how you knew about the cocoons. Oh, nice one, nice one. I'm running scared now. You had to know about the cocoons to plan this. Just how well known are these cocoons? I'm embarrassed to admit it, but I'd never heard of them. Well, let me write knew about them. Not their use. Well, my reports indicate that there are ongoing efforts to control information about the cocoons. Most people only know that they're illegal to export. That's all. Then, I have nothing to be embarrassed about after all. You could say people like me know about them who know about them are the minority, yeah. But that includes everyone in international affairs, man! Everyone at Interpol too, for that matter, yeah. It's all hot and bothered. So there are other Interpol agents like Mr. Laytooth. All over the world, likely. Deep undercover, most of them. That's why these cocoons are too hot for the market. You don't want Interpol sniffing through your wares. Most came to the conclusion that can't sell them on the black market too. Dangerous. Yeah, Interpol finds you, they arrest you on the spot. Or another marketeer might think you're part of a sting and take you out himself. Time to change. Well, ain't exactly but when scarcity drive up prices, yeah, and attention. Every gangster and his brother would want a piece of that action. They turn your forehead into Swiss cheese before you can say objection. Maybe we could get them to cut his hair too. Was that trial here again? Man, you so obviously know nothing about the market. And that's a bad thing? Don't even try to mess with me about this stuff. I'm in international affairs, aren't you? Which is why you know how to find a loophole in the system. Hey, you can say what you want about me, but back off of international affairs. There ain't no loopholes, okay? What do you think we are, Boy Scouts? I was trying to, down, Darian. It's as you say, there are no loopholes, at least in the case of these cocoons. International affairs, Interpol, and Burgundian customs are all watching. See, we know what we're doing. Not like some yipping little doggies that laugh at every word that diva says. Why I oughta what? You want some of this? Chill, both of you. Let's do this cool, yeah. Screw cool. I want this guy's head on a stick! There has to be a key to his motive. There's gotta be a way to find out what he was up to. Is that too lucrative? But what if... Objection! Why not choose a less dangerous buyer then? I would. How clueless are ya? Everyone in the market's dangerous. The second they found out I was a cop, I could kiss my keister goodbye. Why sell to a black market buyer? How about someone like this? An article. That's about the Chief Justice's... A deadly poison can be extracted from the cocoon. But so can a cure. Not a cure for just any disease. Cure for incuratus. Incuratus! I've heard of that somewhere. You went to visit a victim of the disease this morning. Aha! Why, that's the disease the Chief Justice's son has. You aren't saying. Our witness is a detective. He would have contact with the Chief Justice. You are saying Chief Justice would never deal in contraband. Not even to save his own son's life. But even if the deal went through, why? It'd be an international scandal. As detective to sense insurance. If word ever got out, the one with his neck on the line will be the Chief Justice. Detective Crescent, is this true? First I'm a murderer, now I'm a smuggler. How many crimes are you gonna try and pin on me anyway? Tasteful as it is to think about if the Chief Justice were the buyer. Why, a seller couldn't hope for a better deal. A very cowardly seller. Don't let sleeves over there trick you. So I made a deal with the Chief Justice? Where's your proof? Well... Oh, yeah, and you're forgetting one other important thing. Do you tell? Interpol isn't the only ones out there watching this. Organian Customs barely sleeps. They're so worried about cocoons getting out. So we were informed. Let's continue with the cross-examination. Everything. But... what about the guitar?
Objection!
Actually, there is one way. What? One way to get something out of the country. No checks. What is it? You become a prosecutor. A prosecutor? I don't believe it. Believe it, Prosecutor Gavin. What was it that you told me yesterday at your office? It was a beautiful instrument. It played lovingly for many years. A guitar befitting a woman like a Lamira. How did it end up here? I mentioned how much I enjoyed playing it that night, and she made a present of it. Those guitars from Virginia? That's it is. We couldn't carry it on the plane. Changes in air pressure and humidity ruin the wood. So, we vacuum-packed it in Lemurar's studio. Use the special shipping service available to me for transporting evidence. They brought it right up to my office for me. Pristine and untouched. Did I get that right, Prosecutor Gavin? Untouched? Quite. The guitar was wrapped in several sheets and vacuum packed in Virginia. The pack was untouched until the day of the concert. Are you saying that guitar was... With cocoons this small, it would have been very easy to use your guitar as a mule to smuggle a cocoon out of Virginia. What? Which reminds me, Prosecutor Gavin, Guitar had some work done on it recently, right? Work? Good memory, Airforehead. Well, you know how guitars have a round hole in the front? It is called the sound hole. Well, they found something attached to the wood just inside the hole. A broken device of some sort. Broken device? Yes, this, in fact. An igniter. Exactly. Consider this, if you will. What if the igniter wasn't the only thing that was attached inside your guitar? You mean? He means this, of course. There was a way to get a cocoon out of the country. It could use picky Prosecutor Gavin's privileged guitar as a mule. And who better to do that than someone with access? Like a member of the band. Yuck! Order! 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 So the igniter was placed in there for a clear reason, it seems. It was a safety precaution. Precaution? Airforehead. At last it all comes together. Every strange thing that happened that day. Hear the radio. And Maestro, the gentle sounds of Lemurar's ballad, if you please. First, my keys were stolen. A harmless misdemeanor, which forced me to break the lock on my guitar case. The key was stolen to retrieve the cocoon from the guitar. I see. But things didn't go so well. The smuggler wasn't counting the guitar being wrapped. Only a member of the band could get near that case. Unwrapping the guitar would raise too many suspicions. Then the concert began. Right about this time, a very large problem presented itself to the smuggler. What's that? Mr. Latus. Mr. Latus, an undercover agent, was onto something. He would have known about the guitar. He'd only have to check the shipping records. So Mr. Litsus tried to examine the guitar himself. If the cocoon were confiscated, then the gig would be up. The jig would be up. The only thing left for the smuggler to do was to get rid of the whole lot. It's over. Press the switch, now! The guitar burst into flames. The cocoon was lost. And then... Mr. Litsus died. With Lemmy there to witness it. There's your case. Brilliant, man. Detective Person. I gotta know, you make all that up on the fly. For a made-up story, it makes a great deal of sense, Darian. Republic of Virginia? Sorry, man, I haven't even been there. True, you haven't. Let's see you make up a story for that kid. How I had the cocoon in the first place, huh? It's not so hard to imagine. You had help. A Brigidian accomplice. That's all. That you had an accomplice was clear from the start. The voice Lemura heard proves it. It's over. Press the switch, now! He made this transmission from backstage. Well, your co-conspirator was on stage. But who was it? Is it the coup de grace? For once I know what I'm doing! There's only one person who could have helped him. Here, Mr. Justice has to say then. Be warned. With great accusation comes great responsibility. Make your answer on the fly, as it were. You'll be harshly penalized. Are you ready, Mr. Justice? Who was the smuggler's accomplice? It turns out he is applied to him. Understanding English. I mean... based on where it was located. Take that! There's only one person who meets all the requirements of the accomplice. And that person is the defendant, Makita Bay. But Mr. Justice, he's your client. A defense attorney accusing his client, that's a new one. I assure you, no one is more unhappy about this than I. But I am here to defend him in the murder of Mr. Litsus. And I stand by my statement earlier that he is innocent of that particular crime. Indeed, the defendant is Brigidian. He does meet the basic requirements to be the accomplice. But what if it was, in fact, Lemmy? It couldn't have been. Well, you seem sure of yourself. Reason? Is electronic signals, Your Honor. Electronic signals? Recall that this remote only works to a range of 30 feet. Beyond that, it's useless. Yes, that's true. Now, think back to the testimony. When the shooter made his transmission, Lemmy was in the air vent. Right above the dressing room where the shooter stood. Let's look at the stage diagram. This is the area that the remote could reach from the air vent. Well, looking at this, it seems that Lemmy still could have done the deed. No. Now, when the shooter made that transmission, the stage was slightly different than shown here. It was in the middle of the guitar serenade. Part of the stage was raised. Oscar Gavin and the Lemmy stand-in were in the air. They were on a tower which happens to be 15 feet tall. In other words, the remote couldn't have worked from Lemuel's position in the air vent. Well, Detective Person, what do you say to that? Your Honor. Yes, Detective? Can we see the video where Gavin's guitar burns? Just one more time. Well, I don't see why not. What? Don't tell me he has a way out of this! Too bad, so sad. Punk. Punk? First you were slave, then kid, now punk. You're losing rank fast, Apollo. What exactly were we supposed to see in this video? The problem isn't in what we see, correct, Ryan? Right, it's what you hear. We are musicians after all. Here to explain for us non-musicians. Sure thing, punk. Let me get the yarn straight first. You're saying I ordered the pianist to set off that igniter? That's right. Yes. Well, in order to do that, he'd have to press the switch. Am I right? Okay. Well, take another listen. Pay attention to the piano. Piano? What seems to be the problem there? The piano sounded just fine. And that's the problem, man! You still don't get it. Yeah, how's he supposed to hit that switch if he's playing? You've got Ms. Diva, the guitar, the bass, the piano, and the drums. Only one with her hands free was a diva. Let me roar! But according to you, she couldn't have been an accomplice, could she? Ugh. Your accomplice would have a hard time helping out. Yeah, but they couldn't even press the switch. This is easily solved! If you listen, like, right when it goes off, or around when it goes off, there's a note, right? The piano plays non-stop. He couldn't have pressed that switch. Well, Mr. Justice, the piano does seem to be playing when the guitar catches fire. Well, it's okay. We all make mistakes sometime. Apollo, were you wrong? Can't be wrong. Everything makes perfect sense. How could it all just... strange? What's strange? No, it's just... something's odd about the performance there. Odd? Mr. Justice? If Maki Tabe didn't press that switch, he could not be the accomplice you claim he is. But everything points to it. Every fact says he's the accomplice. You got the facts wrong, man. Here are some facts for you. Gavin's guitar is on fire. But the pianist didn't press that switch. In other words, your story is full of holes. Mr. Justice, let's hear your final opinion on the matter now. Does it fit Maki Tabe the accomplice? Yes, we'll reflect on everything you've said here. Give it some thought. Apollo, if Maki's not the accomplice, our whole case is ruined. I know that. It has to be him. He's the only one who could have helped the smuggler. He had to have pressed that switch. Well, you better find a way to prove it. Ugh. What do I do? What do I do? There has to be something that doesn't fit. Something odd. Something odd? Wait a second. What? You thought of something? What was Gavin saying just now? Strange. What's strange? No, it's just... something's odd about the performance there. It's not much to go on, but it's all we've got. What exactly did you hear that was odd? Have you come up with something, Mr. Justice? May I remind you that everything rests on this? Can you prove Maki Tabe pressed that switch? Let's hear your final answer. Can you prove that Maki Tabe pressed that switch? Yeah? I don't know if you can call this proof per se, but I can prove it with what's possible. And as prosecutor, it falls to me to ask you to show us evidence supporting this. Careful ahead, you're sure about this. Accept it, there's no evidence, man. Let's see your evidence, Mr. Justice. What do you base your claim that the defendant pressed that switch? The soundboard. Basis for my claim is music, Your Honor. Music? What about music? Well, let's listen to the piano part around the time when the switch was to be pressed. Right before the guitar burst into flame. I hear a piano being played. But doesn't it sound kind of simple? Simple? Ah, I think I know what he's suggesting. You think Monkey could have played that part with one hand? One hand? He only needed one hand to press that switch. He could have played the piano with the other. So you're some kind of piano savant. Actually, no. Then what do you know? You can't play a part like that with one hand? Ugh. Maybe. I don't know what I'm talking about here. Wait, I know! Hey, Trissy! Wait, I know. Hey, Trissy. Yeah? You got something? Mr. Wright, your father. He is a pianist. Could he... Oh, Daddy? You couldn't play a part like that, even if you had 3 hands. So sorry. So sad for you. No, not really. Huh? That was just the easy way to prove it. But there's always a hard way. Man, how are you gonna prove whether he played with one hand or 2? You can't! I admit, it'll be rather difficult to prove. But it's highly likely he was playing with one hand. How do you know that? Clue is what Prosecutor Gavin described as sounding odd. What sounded odd? I'll bet we can tell by listening to a certain part of the song. No way. Well, seems we've come to the moment of truth at last. Let's hear what Mr. Justice has to say for himself. Show us the part that proves the defendant was playing with one hand. Right before the guitar burst into flames. Maki was definitely playing one-handed just before the guitar caught fire. And one section of the song proves it. Okay, so he's on 4? This is a section with the... I'm gonna have to do that headset thing because I have too much delay now. Okay, I think it's this last section. There's like a point where he kind of like fumbles, almost sounds like. Take that! Oh god, TV's still up. That's the section? I'm afraid I don't hear it. What's your opinion as an artist, Prosecutor Gavin? It's a beautiful song, and the lyrics are outstanding. I think I mean there isn't a problem. Okay, it's it. What was the odd thing that Gavin heard? Oh god, my TV's still up. Ah! Just pressing the first half of the second verse, right? Now I just need to find a place to compare that. Okay, Your Honor, if you'll give me one more chance, I think I can find it. I suppose we don't have a choice. Very well. You claim the defendant was playing with one hand when the switch is pressed. Hard to prove it. Okay, so I had another theory on when it was then. Should be this part. That's the section. Better not hear it. What? Wasn't that? Okay. Panels on 4. Oh right, yeah, I had. It was before she fumbled.
Take that!
What?
Take that!
It was just the first section. Mr. Gavin, I'm sure you've realized by now. Just what it was that sounded odd to you. As I'm sure you've realized it yourself, Airforehead. Realize what? I'll demonstrate. Let's listen to the part in question again, shall we? Pay particular attention to for the fleeting melody phrase. Man, how many times do we have to listen to the same thing? You're right, enough of that. Listen to another section, shall we? Another section? It's hard bursting the flame at the end of the second verse. Let's listen to the same spot in the first verse. Pay attention to "Oh, that night in your embrace." Play verse 2 again? There, did you hear that? They feel the same, true, but they're clearly very different. What? Well put, Your Honor. The phrase in verse 2 is quite simple, but the same phrase in verse 1 has high and low notes. You'd have to use 2 hands to play that for sure. What's that prove? I would think you'd know that by now. This is why I hate dealing with amateurs, man! So 2 verses had different arrangements. Happens all the time. Not this time, Diane. There's no point in changing an arrangement if you can't hear it clearly. And that wasn't the point. I had them play specifically so that the piano would stay in the background. That was what I noticed. Why should the same phrase sound slightly different? I asked myself. I asked myself why Maki changed how he played, and there's only one answer. He needed a free hand in order to press the switch. Orc. Don't forget the orc. Order! I believe this all ties the facts together. Well, Prosecutor Gavin? Yes, quite. Although, personally, this comes as a terrible disappointment. What? No comeback? Can't believe it. I finally did it. I shut him up. Very well. Alright, objection from the prosecution. I will now state the court's opinion on this matter. Good show, Sleeves. No, great show. It's not over. I don't like it when he looks so happy. Okay, I'm gonna put a split on my own side because this delay is killing me here. You tell him, Gavin. Tell him what's so disappointing. Personally, I'm not terribly disappointed in you, Airforehead. Me? Yes, don't get me wrong, your case is solid. The facts all check out, but even now, you have yet to show us a single piece of decisive evidence. Yeah, but the facts, anyone can see it was him. Unfortunately, anyone does not include the law. I'm afraid your case doesn't cut it. But thousand facts might point toward the same conclusion, but without decisive evidence, it's not proof. That's a rule under our current legal system. I don't believe it. It does not seem as though the defense has any more evidence to present. Oh, I think if examined, we already would have seen it a long ways back. It's unfortunate, but at present, this court is unable to acknowledge your accusation. What? Truth is staring us all right in the face. Why can't they see it? What's the point of the legal system that protects criminals? Hello, remember what Danny said? It won't be easy to prove he did it, especially not under the current court system. So what do I do? Like I said, good luck. Be aware that it will be impossible to prove his guilt by conventional methods. Ugh! Every man has an igniter inside him. Find Darian Crescent's igniter. I set it off. I wonder what he meant by every man's igniter. Maybe he just meant a weak spot, no? That kind of thing that a single spark could turn into a wildfire of emotion? Won't be able to press him further by conventional means. Gotta find a weak spot in the sky. Something fatal. So, can I get back to work now or what? It may look like I got a lot of time on my hands, and I got no more time to play pretend with the deadweight attorney. Well, Mr. Justice, we've come to this far without decisive evidence. This witness won't be coming back to the stand once we let him go. Every man has an igniter. Huh? Can you say the better guitar, the brighter it burns, Prosecutor Gavin? Yes, good guitars are kept dry is why. That proves the best sound. Even a small spark could cause irreparable damage. Your plan has an igniter in it, Detective. Was it from the very beginning? What? Fighting time, Justice. If you blow this one, it'll be out of your hands for good. Go further, Paula. What? And this igniter is supposed to come burn me up? Oh, that's almost poetic there, Mr. Attorney. All the better. I'm rather fond of poetry. And I intend to hear this one through to the very end. Air forehead. You are accusing this man, Darian Crescent, of 2 crimes, the murder of Mr. Littus and the smuggling of a Virginian cocoon. This is your last chance to prove your case. This trial's already run on far too long. Mr. Justice, this will be my last warning. The moment this igniter of yours turns out to be a dud, it's the moment this cross-examination ends. Understood? Yes, Your Honor. Then let's have it. Show us the basis for these accusations against Darian Crescent. This is really my last chance. He will take apart Darian Crescent's plan is. Let's save it. Probably don't need to, but I don't think I have any evidence. Who would the witness be? Wait, Balance? Can I call on him? Would that even make sense? Wait, what if I call Maki? Your igniter isn't a piece of evidence. So what is? It is true that I couldn't show decisive evidence, but perhaps what I needed to prove my case was something else. Yeah, you mean a witness. Proving his guilt is a tall order, but I've got just the person to do it. Very well, Mr. Justice. It was this person who can prove Darian Crescent's guilt.
Take that!
The one person who can prove Darian Crescent's guilt is the defendant. Maki Tobe. Your client? Again? Maki Tobe was an accomplice into the cocoon smuggling plot. Without him, Darker-sen could not have gotten the cocoon. Furthermore, he can easily prove that the one who fought to smuggle the cocoon is the real criminal in this case. How so? It required just one of the very cocoons Mr. Latus was looking for. With the cooperation of the Republic of Virginia, we could burn a cocoon. The burnt cocoon would leave a particular residue. A residue we would, no doubt, also find inside the burnt-out guitar. Ah, very scientific of you. Thus, if Maki Tobe acknowledges his agreement with Darker-sen during the attempted smuggling of a Virginian cocoon, the case is solved. Darian's laughing again. Your unrelenting passion is remarkable. You really want to get me, don't you? Too bad you'll never be able to. Why not? The little key tickler won't acknowledge anything, especially not anything to do with cocoon smuggling. What's this all about? Take the cocoon out of the country means death. By Virginian law. Yeah, see? If our pianist really was a smuggler, and testifying about it would be suicide. And believe me, he's not talking. But you're wrong, Detective Krasen. What? It's the other way around. If Maki doesn't admit to smuggling here, he's in deep trouble. Ow. Look, if Maki admits to smuggling here, then he'll be tried in our courts by our laws. You don't get the death penalty for smuggling in our country. The victim in this case was an undercover Interpol agent. I'm sure that news has already reached Virginia, and they'll likely broadcast our dealings in court today, including the parts about the Virginia cocoon. Yeah, but. But if Maki doesn't admit to smuggling now, he'll eventually be picked up by the Virginian police, and it's not like he's in any danger in our court. We're not going to find him guilty of murder here, not now. Yeah, but you can't do this. You can't accuse me. Maybe the law doesn't allow it, but who's going to think you're really innocent after hearing this trial? The same goes for Maki Tobe. The cocoon is smuggling your entire plan. Maki Tobe knows everything. There's only one way out of it for him, and that's to acknowledge his own crime. The crime of cocoon smuggling. Just don't worry there. I'll get you out of the country. Set you up someplace, a hidden mansion. Real nice. Want a house made out of cookies? Or no, a house made out of pianos? Come on. Please! Don't take! I thought I was gonna say take, so that's why I was doing the A instead of ah. I'm dying. I consider that my last session with you. We rocked. I'm guessing we can treat that outburst as a confession? Uh-oh, he's laughing again. There's a kind of sick desperation in it now, though. Well, have you been listening to today's trial? Yes. And you'll talk. You'll tell this court everything. I didn't want it to turn out this way. But I'm not the kind of lawyer that can overlook a crime. Today's trial was all for your benefits, you know. I see no reason why you should hesitate now. I knew from beginning. I knew. Maki. Situation I cannot explain, but money I needed. Very much money. Today's trial raises a delicate issue with our legal system. The only thing definite is in a court of law is evidence. This is the golden rule. However, it has become apparent that not all things can be tried by the standard. To another case of this sort surface, we may have to consider an alternate system by which we to administer justice. Anyway, Mr. Makitobe? Yes. I promise you will receive a fair trial by the laws of our country. And, with regard to the current charges for the murder of Mr. Leitus, court is prepared to announce a verdict. I thank you. I only lie, but you see truth. You find truth. That's our job. Very well. This court finds the defendant Makitobe. Court is adjourned. July 10th, 4:42 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 2. I wonder what will happen to Maki. Well, he did smuggle cocoon out of Virginia. Guess there will be another trial here. All's well that ends well. Daddy! I owe you both my thanks. Let me roar. Is something wrong? I'm sorry, Maki was your partner on stage, your friend. Yes, I thought of him as my own son. Even now, I do, yet something got a hold of him, something evil. I see that. And he must pay for what he has done. Is that not how it should be? I'm still sorry. Do not be sorry. You have given me courage. Courage? I am considering an eye operation. It was my suggestion, actually. You mean you'll be able to see again? It's funny. I have always been afraid of the light. The light seems so harsh, so I'm forgiving. According to the doctor, Lemmy-Roar lost her sight due to some kind of accident. An accident? As you know, I suffer from amnesia. I fear that if I could see, perhaps it would open my eyes to the truth I have been running from. I was scared. You know what changed her mind? Hearing your defense in there today. She could feel your gaze, unwavering, always looking straight at the truth. If the light returns to my eyes, I think I will take up painting. Painting? That's right! She's a landscape painter in sound, after all! I will paint the two of you, I promise. Woohoo! I can't wait, Lemmy-Roar! I owe you my thanks too, Apollo. Thanks, Mr. Wright? But for what? You remind me I needed to hurry things along. On my secret mission, that is. Right, your secret mission. Although, Trucy, I hope that we will meet again someday soon. You bet! Me too! My voice is dead. Ah! I don't know if you guys can hear me starting to struggle here, but And so, like a ballad, the trial flowed on and on, 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 until it finally came to an end. Thanks to the trial, the guitar serenade was a huge hit. Rescue Gavin's even more dazzling to look at now. But there's something I want to say to that guy. Next time you write a ballad, have him catch the killer at the end. We made it! Oh my god, my voice... it's more like my jaw. Feels dead from that. Anyway... we are gonna call it good there. That was probably 2 videos again. Maybe. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Capcom Creators, again for the code. If you enjoyed the video, or videos, I guess. Goodness. Oh, stretch. Stretching is good. Water is good. Consider liking, commenting, and or subscribing. If you really enjoyed it, consider supporting the channel. All support greatly helps for keeping content like this and more. Find the links for that in the description below, along with links to me on social media. So thank you again for watching. I'm going to do jaw exercise or something. Until next time, this is rinimt signing out. Bye!